Crystal, how does my mustache look?
It looks amazing and
Oh,
perfect today.
thank you. Thank you. Well, hey, before we got on air, I was telling you, I'm starting my own kids show.
That's amazing. I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I call it the ABCs of Fitness, okay?
All
And
right.
I could use some help. Can you help me
Yeah.
out?
Sure.
Okay. So I got this letter block. It's
Okay.
the letter D, right?
Okay.
I need some words, some fitness words, maybe even healthy words, that I
Okay.
can use for the letter D.
Yeah.
Do you have any
I would
ideas?
I would say doctor is a good.
Oh, you're a
Yeah.
doctor.
I am a doctor. I'm a family doctor.
Oh, that works. That works. Any other
Yeah.
ideas?
I would say dance also
Dance.
begins. Yeah.
That's a good one. You mean like
Um
belly dancing? We're gonna
any
get
type of
into it. We're
dance.
gonna get into it.
Yeah, any type of dance, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, just
Oh,
as long as you stay moving.
you gotta stay moving. I like
Yeah.
that. Well, hey, welcome to Reppin Fitness.
Thank you for having me.
Brick Headstrong! Brick Headstrong! He's got the reps to you! He's got the reps to you! Brick Headstrong!
Now I need to know before we get started.
Okay.
Have you been to the gym today?
Ooh, really good question. I have not yet.
Oh, are you going later?
I am going later.
Oh, nice. What's today? What are you doing today?
Ooh, I would have to check my schedule. I think I am going to be doing some squats.
Oh,
I am going to be doing some benching too while I'm at it. So I usually
bench,
do a full body workout.
squat, squats, and benching in one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. Now, do you remember the first time you've ever been to the gym?
I do. I
Oh, when was that?
do. Oh man, that was many, many years ago. At my age, sometimes you forget how long it's been, since you first got into exercise.
Oh, yeah, same here. I don't remember. It's been so
Yeah,
long.
it has. I actually started with these things called VHS tapes
I've
long
heard of them,
ago.
but explain for the people at home. They probably don't know what those are.
Yeah, a long time ago, before YouTube and the internet, we used to watch movies and we used to watch tapes on a VHS player. And you'd put the tape into the player and it would produce movies. And so I used to do a lot of workout tapes at home in my living room with my mom.
Whoa. Then you'd have to rewind it.
Yes, you had to be kind, rewind was what they usually said on the rental VHS tapes.
Oh, yeah. I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I got a
Yeah.
VHS player. They call
You
them
still have one?
VCRs. VCRs, yeah?
Ooh. Yes, yes.
Wow.
So, very long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as you know,
Yeah.
things take time. Habits take
Yes.
time, right?
Yeah.
When you first started your fitness journey,
Oh
what made
gosh.
you decide that you wanted to change the way you were living?
Yeah, I decided I really wanted to change my habits after I graduated from undergrad in college.
Right, right.
And I just felt like, I was not, walking was getting really tough to do.
Oh,
Walking from, place to place is a really important kind of thing to have, in life. And so that's when I started to realize maybe I should really think really hard about the things I'm doing in my everyday life and, kind of went from there.
now I saw on your Instagram,
Yeah.
I read your story, and
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to talk about it today
Yeah.
because you have a great story.
Oh, well, thank you.
Belly dancing.
Yes.
How did you start with that? What made you decide this is what I wanted to start doing?
So I had a lot of friends in California who were into belly dancing, and so
Oh,
we had taken some classes a long, long time ago, and it was so much fun that I bought a couple of beginner DVDs. So this was after
oh,
VHS tapes. We had these CDs, called DVDs, and so I kept these around, and when I moved to Wisconsin for grad school, I kept a couple of them. I had packed everything everything I owned, all my clothes, whatever I could fit in my car, and moved to Wisconsin for grad school. And so I had kept those DVDs. And when I got to Wisconsin, I, started to get into my fitness journey. I thought about, well, I'm not ready to go to the gym yet, but I have these DVDs still. And, I'm at home. So, like, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, yeah. How many classes did you take before? Were you doing it regularly?
Um, it was like once a week. I actually can't even remember how many times a week I was doing the classes. It was just every now and again. So it was a lot of fun and just easy to kind of get into it. Like it wasn't like a super high energy aerobics where like you had to like jump up and down or anything like that. It was very low impact. So it was easy on my joints.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I got to try that. I got to try some belly dancing. I'd probably be pretty good at it.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, maybe get some abs. I don't know.
Yeah, work your hips.
Yeah. I don't know how good this is going to look. It's terrible. I'm terrible at dancing. Seems like bad. Really bad at it. Anyways. Now, belly dancing. That's where it
Yes.
all started.
Yeah.
What happened next? What was the next thing you decided to do?
I decided to go to the gym and see what
Oh.
I could do.
What did that entail? Do you remember?
I started on the elliptical for about 15 minutes
Oh.
at a time. So that's all I could do because my my lungs were not used to getting a lot of exercise all at once. And
Oh.
so I had to, that's where I had to start with. So
Now,
we
you were
did that for a while.
Yeah, you were saying you had a habit, smoking,
Yeah.
right? When did that
Not
stop
good.
for you?
That stopped the day I graduated from undergrad.
Oh!
Yeah.
Was that like
Yeah.
some sort of goal, commitment?
Yeah, it just felt like, I'm not going to, get a master's degree or a PhD if I continue like this really bad habit. It's really icky. My fingers smelled like cigarette smoke and then my lungs, were, not in the best shape. So I would say definitely not a great habit to pick up.
Oh, yeah. You shouldn't smoke. Anybody
Yeah.
watching at home, no smoking.
Yeah,
It's bad for you.
it is.
But
It is.
one of the things I liked about your story is you did things piece by piece, right?
Yeah.
You went on your own pace. And a lot
Yeah.
of people, they try to change everything at one time and then they fail. It just goes away for them. Diet, exercise, sleep, their
Yeah.
mindset. But you didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the pace you went at and why that worked for you?
Oh man, I went at a very slow pace
Yeah.
because, yeah, like you said, not only are you trying to do all these new habits, but also you have life stuff, right?
Right.
Being a grad student, teaching, it's all these new things, doing research. So figuring out how to sort of be an adult and kind of prioritize your time and time management and schedule things. So I really started at the very beginning. And so one is stop smoking because that was just
Yeah.
like nothing came out of that, good came out of that. And then two, try and figure out how to cook because I realized that a lot of we talk about, healthy eating and whatnot. And a lot of it comes in the kitchen, right? Like,
Yeah.
prepared meals. And so I really experimented in the kitchen to see what was good, what was not good. A lot of burnt chicken, a lot of, you make mistakes,
Yeah,
it's just like
sure.
anything else. So you just got to experiment with, things that are healthy and then kind of see where it goes from there.
Yeah. What was your relationship like with food before?
Oh, everything was came from a convenience store.
Oh.
Everything came from a restaurant. I was always in undergrad. I was always ordering takeout food, very tasty food, delicious food that was very high calorie, and I was getting snacks that were also very high calorie as well. And I wasn't exercising, so when I got to grad school, I figured that as long as I'm trying to cook something, I'm doing better than I was before.
Right. Pizza combos. They're the
one
ones,
of my
huh?
one of my favorite snacks from undergrad. Yeah, I put down the pizza combos and tried to experiment by getting a vegetable at the farmer's market and seeing what I could do with it.
What was your
So,
go-to vegetable?
I really liked beets for a couple of weeks.
Beets.
Yeah.
Never
I was like,
expected that. Why'd you
yeah,
like those?
just they were tasty
Oh,
and they had a really pretty red color.
okay.
And I just decided to challenge myself that week and see, put it in the oven and see what I could do with it. And turns out I really enjoy beets.
Now, I don't know if you've seen this because they're at the convenience store. There's
Yeah.
these new pretzel pizza things like
Oh.
Larry Lemmy's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw that they've been coming out with some new stuff.
What do you think of that?
It's a hard. I think you can incorporate a lot of tasty things that are also have decent macros in a plan.
Right.
I think if you're always eating kind of that stuff, it can be kind of, and you're watching your calories, it can be real easy to kind of go over your daily
Oh, yeah.
calories.
They'll sneak right up on you.
Yeah, and it's really tasty too. So you want to
Right.
eat a lot of it. So I think it's good in moderation, but I think also making sure we include lots of fruits and vegetables and other things that helps with digestion, helps with your health, is also important to make sure that not every meal is a Lenny and Larry's like snack treat.
Oh, yeah. I only do it once in a while. I don't even know why they put the serving sizes on the back. No one's only eating a quarter of a bag. It's never
No.
going to happen like that.
No.
No. But anyways, you started with beets. What kind of
Yeah.
vegetables do you like now?
Bell peppers,
Oh.
mushrooms, spinach. Let's see. I still like beets. Edamame.
Edamame, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they're just very easy. Sugar snap peas,
Whoa.
green beans, kale.
Oh, kale, yeah. I used to put it in the oven. I used to bake kale, make little chips.
Ooh, yeah, I remember those. I used to eat a lot of those too. That was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a favorite of mine.
They left a weird taste in your mouth, though.
Mm-hmm.
A little stinky.
Yeah.
But,
well,
Do you remember how old you were when you first started strength training? Like when you started getting serious about it?
yes, because I was quite an adult.
Oh, how old were you?
I was like late 20s.
Late 20s?
Yeah, I was a late bloomer, so to speak. I was in grad school. I was like 26 or 27,
Whoa.
maybe. I had just finished a half marathon. Part of my fitness journey. It was like a challenge. It was
Right.
really awesome. And I just was like, okay, what's next? And I really wanted to build some muscle, man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just I got this weight training for runners book, and that's what got me into the weight room. And I just never left. So it's, yeah,
Nice.
2008, I think is when 2007 or 2008.
Wow. Now, first of all, a half marathon. That's pretty impressive. That's
Yeah,
impressive. Because steps are reps too. You can't forget about
Yes.
it. You got to get your steps in. They're
Yes.
definitely important. But getting in the gym, now that's important. That's some stuff right there.
Yeah.
Now, for people that are watching that might be in their 30s and maybe
Mhm.
40s who had that same, I've let things go, they've been thinking about it, but they're now not sure what to get started with.
Yeah.
What would you recommend as step one?
I would say for step one is, let's get organized in the kitchen. I'd
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, what does that look like to you?
Let's come up with some really easy to prepare, like ahead of time foods, whether that's making individual little meals or if it's like just pre-cooking a whole lot of vegetables or pre-cooking a whole lot of protein sources and just putting it in the fridge for later so you can just kind of grab and go and put things together. Things, it really depends on what people's schedules look like, but I
Right.
think getting organized and doing a little bit of prep in the kitchen, I think makes people's weeks so much easier because I know everybody's on the run.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, a lot of people on the run. And we
mhm.
touched on a little bit, building a routine, right? You
Yeah.
got to build a routine, stick to it. This way you can hit your goals.
Yeah.
Now, how should some people over 30 balance all of that? They got to go to the gym, they got to go to work, recovery,
Yeah.
and then they have the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How long does it take to do some meal prepping in the kitchen? How long does it take for you?
I think to cook some chicken or cook some meat, I usually put it on the grill, and
Oh,
I'll just set a timer and kind of, half an hour at most. But the nice thing is that you can set it and like do other things too. Like you can do laundry. I can, feed my dog. I can
oh,
go on a walk outside with my dog and then come back. So it's not like you're, have to, be there and be present. You can do a couple of those things at once, but I'd say maybe about an hour or two to get everything, done for the next couple of days. And it just makes everything so much easier.
see, just a couple hours. That's all it takes. You'll have a couple meals for every day of the week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now tell me, what's your dog's name?
Oh, my dog's name is Gwen.
Gwen. Shout out to Gwen. I think Gwen was making some noise before. Gwen was in the house.
Yes.
Yeah. How old is Gwen?
She just turned 4 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Whoa, did you guys do anything?
I made her a steak.
Oh, I want to be your dog. A steak. Nice.
I know. Only the fanciest for her. Only the best.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Happy birthday, Gwen.
Oh.
Never had a birthday shout out. This is the first. Nice.
I know.
Nice.
I know.
Now let's go back to humans. Back to humans.
Yeah. Okay.
When they're trying to get back into things, especially in their 30s and their 40s as they get a little older, they try to go all in right away. Why do you think people do that? Why do you think they think that's going to work?
I think, people really, really want to make up for lost time, maybe. Or at least on my end, I know that there have been times where I felt like I really wanted to, get everything started and get everything going. I certainly have had those moments. But this is you have to think about it as like this is going to be the new me. This is my new lifestyle. This is going to be with me, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So I think framing it like that makes it a little bit more bearable, I think.
Oh, yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot because people want that 30-day fix, the 60-day fix, even 90 days. Do you think they could do it in 90 days? Sure.
Yeah.
You can do a little bit in 90 days.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the 365-day fix.
Right.
After that, we could figure it out. Let's see where you're at after that,
Exactly.
But seriously, though, people fall for some common traps, Do you think people over 30 need to train differently than they did when they were younger? I've been thinking about this myself. And when I was in my 20s, I used to lift too heavy. I was showing off. But now, I'd probably break my back lifting what I used to when I was lifting 2,000 pounds, It was a little too heavy.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do people need to train a little different?
I think people need to be a little bit more kinder to themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It really depends on how long they've been out of the game. There's a lot of people who seem like, they're so, I got to do this, or if it's not perfect, a lot of, they feel paralyzed by all this information that's coming to us, from social media and TikTok and Instagram. I would say the most important thing is like getting started and being consistent with it. Even if it's like, I would rather have somebody go to the gym consistently and like maybe not lift so heavy or maybe not, not push it to the point of no return, than have somebody, like you said, try and like, be, pretend like they're still 20 years old and lift, what they did in their 20s and risk injury. So
let's say I'm going to the gym for the first time in quite some time, right?
Yeah.
And the gym looks a little different than it did about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And you co-authored a book called Bodybuilding Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Now, you put a lot of exercises in it. What do you think people need to know about today's exercises when they go to the gym? What ones should they know about? Just to get started.
I think even just doing compound lifts, get the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like because like you said, adults really don't have a lot of time to do a lot of very isolated exercises. So I guess if we had to go, people want to get in and get out, things like squats, things like a deadlift, even a bench you can really start there and kind of work your way up to, see how much time you have, how you progress through it, and kind of go from there. So
Yeah. I like to tell people when they go to the gym for the first time in quite some time,
yeah,
just go in there. Maybe there's a treadmill, right, that oversees
Yeah.
the whole place. Go walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes, take a look around, see what's there. Then you might be able to put together a game plan so that you know exactly where all the machines are that you want to work on, Or maybe
Yeah.
just take a stroll around, see what's going on. No one needs to know what you're doing. They're not paying
Yeah.
attention to you.
No one's paying attention. Yeah.
That's what people forget, though, too. They think people are judging them, how much they're lifting. I don't care what you're lifting, as long as you're lifted right. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What was harder for you? Quitting smoking, giving up the combos, or walking into the gym for the first time, surrounded by people that looked like me?
Ooh, I would definitely say walking to the gym and being very intimidated, because I always thought that people were watching, and I will say, being on the other side now, I have patients who also feel the same way. And to their surprise, going into a gym with very hardcore bodybuilders is actually one of the best places to go, because I feel like they're actually surprisingly the nicest. They've got big muscles, but they're like, some of the really nicest people, because they really know what it takes to, put in the work. And for somebody to show up, I think that's really just awesome. And we want people to come back to the gym. So we want to be nice to them and be helpful, as helpful as possible.
Right. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about this. They're in a group class, and they got an instructor, and somebody in the class was saying, my back hurts, my lower back hurts, and they were lifting with deadlifts, right?
Yeah.
And all they needed to do was tell them to lower the weight, fix the form, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't tell them. They didn't tell them to do it. That would never happen at my bodybuilding gym.
True.
Because listen, though, I once tried to quit gummy bears, cold turkey, right? Just like you with the combos.
Yeah.
But I ended up bench pressing a vending machine. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. People were mad about it. But we're going to go back to that word, habits.
Yes.
Habits. Let's say Coach Brick fell off track. I'll admit, I've had a couple cheat meals over the last couple weeks. Only weeks, though. It hasn't been months. Just a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I want to start fresh tomorrow.
All right.
What do you think the first habit you'd tell me to rebuild is? Is it the food?
I would say let's get on track. Let's go to the grocery store right now and let's get you set up for success for the next week. And let's see what easy things we can buy at the store, so you're not having to rely on takeout or whatever it is, or gummy bears, or the pizza combos.
Yeah, DoorDash is pretty attractive stuff. They just come right to my door.
It's expensive, though.
It is expensive. I'm not made of money. Not yet.
I know.
The show isn't out yet. The kids' show isn't together yet. But once that happens, I don't know what's going to happen.
Ooh.
I might be at DoorDash all the time. I might own DoorDash. I don't know. We're talking about being at the grocery store, right?
Okay.
If you can eat one meal, just one meal for gains for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh. I do like, if I had to prepare the meal myself for gains.
Yeah.
I would definitely have over easy eggs, and I would have it over rice, because I really like having the yolk kind of going over the rice. And then I'd have a side of cut up tomatoes with a little bit of salt. It's a childhood favorite.
I have eggs every night. That's my last meal. I have 2 eggs with some chicken, a couple of vegetables, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But it tastes great. I love eggs.
Yeah.
They're expensive,
eggs are
though.
great.
You got to be careful.
I know.
They're up there.
I know. A little pricey. That's why, if I was going out, I would get a burrito, 100%.
Oh, burrito. Yeah. I don't have a grill like you. So anytime I go out to eat, it's steak. I got to have steak when I'm out. I can't cook it at home. I'm not going to put it in a pan. I got to have it out. It's great.
Yeah.
Steak and potatoes. Steak and potatoes.
Ooh,
That's the one
classic.
for me.
Classic.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now, you know a guy, his name's Dr. Mike, right?
Oh, yes.
You're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Now, he's a lot like me. We both use ChatGPT,
hmm
and I named mine AI Arnold, all right, for obvious reasons, right?
Yes.
I love talking to Arnold. Does Dr. Mike have a name for his ChatGPT?
He does.
Oh!
He does.
What is it?
He talks to Lumen.
Lumen. Shout out to Lumen. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, wow.
I don't have a name for mine.
No?
I say please and thank you, but I forgot to. I guess I should probably ask. I should probably figure out what my ChatGPT's name is.
Yeah. I appreciate that you're nice to it. People are mean to theirs. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
They might knock on your door one day. Then what are you going to do?
Right. Right.
You should
I'm
ask.
the nice one.
Ask
Remember,
what they want to name it.
I will.
Yeah,
It's
see what they- see
my
what they
homework.
suggest.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of suggestions, Brick's building a playlist. I'm always updating it. I'm always looking for
Yeah.
fresh new music when I go to the gym and I'm pumping iron, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you saw, I got this sign over here, this poster. It says getting reps.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
see the bicep,
Yeah,
which is the
yeah.
most important part.
That's mine. That's my bicep. But I based it off the Arnold poster that says pumping iron.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe he based his. Anyways.
Off-
What song do you think I should add to my playlist? What are you rocking out to?
You know, I was actually trying to search for something new on purpose because I am such an old school person that I'm like stuck in the 80s and 90s all the time. So I don't know if you've heard of The Fix. One Thing Leads to Another. It's
Oh, yeah.
a classic.
That's a good one.
So Lizzo, To Be Loved, Am I Ready
Oh.
is a pump up song that we were listening to before the jiu-jitsu tournament earlier this year. And then I pulled up Lady Gaga's Abracadabra just
Oh.
because, you know, that's a new one. And I was like, oh, okay, I got to find something new. You know, I'm not going to be this like, you know, stuck in the 80s person. So I'm going to try and challenge myself to expand my music search.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, those are some good suggestions. I'm going to add that. I don't have Abracadabra on mine. I have to
Okay.
add it now. Crystal, this has been
Yeah.
great. Thanks for being a guest on Reppin Fitness.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. But before we go, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
For anyone out there feeling like they're starting too late or moving too slow, what would you tell them about what it really takes to build lasting habits?
I would say it's never too late to start. There are people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond who are getting started and still making awesome progress.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it just keep going and keep really thinking about whether, you know, this habit in particular is really working, what is not working. Always always kind of check in with yourself every now and again to see, you know, what can I add? What can I subtract? You know, is this working or is this not? And kind of go from there. So this is not, you know, you don't have to have all the answers all at once. It took me 10 years to finally get fruit into my rotation. So, you know, if I can still do this, you know, in my late 20s and kind of still be here kicking, so can you.
That's great advice. And hey, strawberries are nature's candy.
Yes.
They're
yes.
delicious. They're delicious.
They
But
are.
anyways, check in with yourself and let's get those reps.
Woo!
We'll see you on the next repisode.